we are discussing the main issue today. Does size really matter? Another week, another video. Welcome back to PhotoGenie. My name is Peter. Welcoming you to this week's PhotoGenie video with Craftlight Media. And that's Eston Oboch. He's just here.
Hey guys, what's happening? What's going on from your end of the world? Glad to be here with PhotoGenie Studio. It's been a long time coming, but man, I'm here.
Yes, it has. It has been quite a while since we had a discussion of having sort of a discussion on YouTube about the gear we use and the kind of things that we do. And finally, the day has come. So I want you to keep tuned, keep watching. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you go to Craftlight Media. Make sure you go see what he does and what he's doing. And then we are discussing the main issue today. Does size really matter? Okay. So I'm here with Craftlight Media. I'm with Eston Oboch, and I'd like to ask him, what kind of gear do you use?
That's a good question. Gear goes really back, but for me, I'd say that I am a fan of Nikon. Okay. I have been using Nikon for the past, I'd say, 3 years now.
Okay.
Ever since I got my first camera.
Yeah.
And I think getting used to Nikon, it's like people who use iPhones.
Yeah.
Once you get an iPhone, you just get to like stick in the iOS environment, the ecosystem, the Apple ecosystem. True. And for me, I think once I got my Nikon, I just became a Nikonite. I think Canon would be my kryptonite, but I'm not trying to rhyme right now. But yeah, it is what it is.
But you do understand that people who hate iOS, the people who hate Apple. So
yeah.
There are also people who hate Nikon. I don't know why.
And they hate Nikon with a passion. They hate Nikon with a passion. I'm not pointing anyone. I'm not referring to anyone, but yes, they hate with a passion.
We usually refer to Nikon as being the Nissan of the camera world, and then we have Canon being the Toyota, and then we have Sony being the German cars, the BMW and the Mercedes and all that. You can get what we mean.
Exactly.
So again, if you're a Nikon lover, why do you love Nikon? If you had the money, if you had the funds, would you move to Sony, to Canon? What would be your choice? Are you a Nikon user by choice or by circumstance?
Let me give you a story. When I was getting my camera, actually, I was doing a lot of research in terms of the cameras that I'd use. Yeah. And for a while, I was actually thinking about getting Canons. Yeah. And Canons actually make really nice bridge cameras. Yes. And for a while, I was like, probably can get a bridge camera and it will just work for me because it's just basically like hobbyist shooting and everything. Yeah. Then I realized that it won't really be like the best option because first of all, the problem with the bridge camera is that you can't be able to change the lens. Yeah. So it comes with what it has. Yeah. At that particular moment, Canon just launched a camera. It was the 4000D, which had come out.
Yes.
Yeah, it was probably like the cheapest entry-level camera.
Yes.
And someone referred me to get that camera, but when I went and reviewed it, checked what was happening with it, I was like, not really, because it's basically just like a point-and-shoot camera. Yeah. It's basically like getting a digicam and using those Kodak cameras from long ago and using it.
True.
Yeah, so I went for the next best thing at that moment, which was the D5300, the camera that we are using. Yes. I'm using right now.
Yes.
I learned that Nikon is not really bad.
Yes.
Once you get used to it, and first of all, you should also like look at the history of what Nikon has been doing.
Yes.
They have been in the market since the 50s.
Yeah.
They are like the biggest makers of glass out here. Just apart from the actual cameras, they also make like some really good glass. Yes. So I was
but now they're out of business.
Yeah, they're out of business. but think about it in terms of legacy.
Yes.
It's like, you know, there's this camera that people use like Pentax.
Yeah.
Exactly. The weird camera that when you hear people talk about, they sound like they are very niche.
Yes.
They sound like they're a bit indie. Why do people still use it? It is because they have a legacy to it.
Yeah,
for example, I think there's this movie that was made. I was actually watching a movie about like a documentary about it.
Yeah.
And they used a lens that had like the fastest f-stop. I think it was 0.1.
Yeah, the fastest is 0.1.
Yeah.
0.1. Yeah.
This lens was designed in the 70s. It was used to make a movie, which is still up to now. very remarkable.
Yes.
And for me, I think that is essentially what Nikon was trying to do.
Yes.
While it might have gone out of business in terms of the camera business,
yes.
I still think that whatever they have in the market, their lineup in terms of their product,
yes.
is still worthwhile to have.
Yes.
Yeah. Would I switch? If I'm to switch, probably the same way that you've said that Nissan and Toyota and the German cars, I'd probably go for a German car. So that would definitely be an A series of a Sony.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We have an agreement on some things, we have disagreements on other things.
But the question is, would you switch?
But the agreement is, when it comes to quality, Sony is the German car. We agree on that. It's at the top.
Yeah.
But when it comes to other features like the color science and how the colors come out, I'd still go for a Canon and not a Sony. The only reason I go for Sony is some features in terms of how fast the lenses are and how good they are. The kind of autofocus they have is really fast. In-body stabilization, though. Canon right now has a body with in-body stabilization.
You're just going to bring up the R series, but
the R5, yes. The only thing is that you have to sell a kidney and an arm before you get it, but it has IBIS.
You imagine when you have such a camera and it falls down, or you fall down with it, you're like, and you hear something cracking, you're like, I hope that's my leg. that's like where you are right now when you're buying the R5.
Yes.
I cannot complain. In terms of the R5, and just better keep quiet about it, because there is no way you are able to compete with that. Nikon can't compete with that. Yeah, me again, I'll just stick to my corner and operate the way I do.
True. Before we go on, I think I'd like to point out, I'm being shot on his camera. That's is it called being shot?
Yeah, you're very right. You're being shot on my camera.
This shot is on a D5300, a Nikon. That's Eston's, and he is on a Canon 90D with a Sigma Holy Grail 18-35 art.
So, Peter, just before you continue, you said the D5300 with a kitlets.
Oh,
yes, with a kitlets. So
it's a D5300 with a kitlets. Yes. His shot is on a Canon 90D with a Sigma 18-35 art. I think it's the best combination when it comes to video for a lot of people out there.
Debatable.
Yes.
Again.
Why I'm not doing Canon glass and I'm doing Sigma and praising it that much?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there's a point. Photography or video?
For me, I'd say video. The cliche goes, a picture is 1,000 words.
Yes.
And a video is a combination of pictures.
Yes.
So you can basically write a novel with a video.
Yes.
And I think that while most of the times when people do photography, it tends to be very misinterpreted.
Yes.
With a video, it's very hard. It's very easy for you to like express the kind of emotion, the kind of mood that you want to like pass to your audience.
Yes.
So for me, I'd always go for video.
Yes.
Video of a photography.
Of a photography.
Yeah. Which is also strange. Before we were doing the preparing for this, I was actually just considering the amount of photos that I have, and I have like 3 cameras, and I have like my phone, and most of the photos that are on my phone aren't even of me. There are people taking my phone or people taking my cameras and taking photos. If I'm to do videos, videos is where you like see me in them. But for photos,
on average in a month, how many photos are you talking about?
In a month, probably we can say like around 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000 of other people. Of myself, probably like around 10 to 15.
I actually do more than 5,000 photos a month.
5,000 photos.
When I used
must be nice. Must be nice.
When I used to do mobile phone photography at the beginning of my videos, I remember talking about it, and I remember that I used to transfer most of my photos from my phone for backups. It would tell me maybe after about 2 months, you're transferring about 13,000, 14,000 images.
What?
And I'd go to sleep, leave it there, just updating and
just transferring and everything.
But
and I can imagine editing would be something else.
Yes. But for me, I think I take both of them. I like using the lens as like a paintbrush. So I can do both photos and video, I think, at par. Yes.
Interesting.
What asks you most when you when you want to shoot? Do you want to take your photos? You want to take your videos, or we've said you're on video mostly?
Yeah, I'm on video mostly.
And right now you want to go do a video, or what we were trying to do. We had before this setup was set up home. There was a lot of work going on.
Exactly, yeah.
So what asks you most whenever, what really pisses you off and you're trying to?
When I'm doing my videos, I think the preparation, I won't really say that it asks me that much, but there are certain aspects about preparation, because sometimes you might look at the timeline, sometimes you might get to the location that you're going to shoot.
Yes.
The weather is not as good as you thought.
Yes.
You check the weather on your app in the morning and it's telling you that it's going to be, it's all sunshine, no clouds.
Yes.
When you go to a place, it's like really cold.
Yes.
Sometimes it's dusty, sometimes you even forget like you are supposed to charge your batteries, and it happens. People actually think that doing videos is easy.
Yes.
It's really hard.
No, it's hard.
Yeah, and I think in the beginning, what used to irk me a lot was the learning curve. Yeah, because you'd get like a new tool. Like when I got my drone, I'd be like, I think I've seen tutorials about how to use drones and everything.
Yes.
It's basically just taking the controller and flying this thing. You realize that you need to like watch out for trees. You need to check out so many things, and that would be like the situation as it is.
Yes.
I remember exactly, it starts raining. I remember there was even this joke that I used to run in the dailies.
Yeah.
That the guys who sit in Dagoretti is basically where the meteorologists are. Yes. They look at the sky and they're like, it looks like it's going to be bright. And the guys downtown in Kangemi or somewhere in Nairobi, it's raining cats and dogs. And they're like, everything is nice and warm, and don't put on any jacket. And that tends to get to me. Then I think another thing is basically like the learning curve of new gear. Because you get a drone and you need to like learn how to use it. I think all drones fly the same, but like when I got mine, I had to like go through like a lot in terms of having to understand how it works. Sometimes you get gear, like there's this time I bought a lavalier mic.
Yes.
And I was doing a video and I realized that the lavalier mic that I'd bought, and I'd imported it for that quarter, it was basically like chipping the voice. It would be 2 seconds of me speaking, then it would go mute. Then another 2 seconds, it would appear like I was doing like some kind of glitch effect, but it just got to me. It is basically again on the gear, basically the experience of learning new things. But learning something would be so much of a bad thing. I think if things would be done quicker, we would be more efficient with our work.
I've ever recorded a video for 20 minutes and realized the mic wasn't on. True story.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
With the video mic, the video mic Pro, the Rode. You actually have to switch it on. I think you saw that, and you telling me I forgot to switch it on. So I'm there recording, and then I think by chance I just decided, let me see how this is turning out, how the audio is. And there was nothing. I got to check the mic, it's off. And I've been talking to myself there 20 minutes, looking at the lens and
nothing at all.
So
that would piss me off. I'd just be like, to hell with it. Let me drink some water and sleep. That's my life.
Remember last week I was chased by hawks and finally.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I'm used to this thing of I fly my drone so far. I think I managed 6 kilometers, which is a bit of a distance, to the point where I actually can't see where my drone is. So when I can't see it, it means it's really far. So by chance, the hawks were chasing me nearby where I could see them. But now the fear I have now is, whatever, I'm that far and I just see the footage is shaking, but there's actually a hawk that has just grabbed it
and it goes with it.
It goes with it. So I think there are many things controllable and uncontrollable that may irk you when shooting videos.
Let me ask this question in regards to that situation. Like for me, I feel like there's some gear which, if I would ever lose, I'd probably just like quit photography and videography. Because I'd imagine, like, if 6 kilometers, you're flying the drone 6 kilometers away, then something just happens, the signal gets lost. And like, how would you feel about that?
Okay, with the DJI Mavic, I think with signal loss, it's supposed to return back home. So I'm thinking there's a bit of safety there.
Yeah.
The only thing would be if you also running low battery.
Yeah.
That would be a problem. Or if there are strong winds to the point where your aircraft is actually bashed against something else, so you just find a downwind and thing just crashes. But essentially with loss of signal, maybe with earlier drones, I had a drone where I actually learned the hard way how to fly because it was the cheaper stuff. It wasn't a Mavic. And most of the time I'd fly and make sure I'm seeing the drone.
You're like, don't go far. I'm watching you. Don't go
I can
far.
see you. I don't want you to go in. I can see you. If there's an issue, I can actually land you. So yeah, it's been a learning curve.
Yeah.
But right now, I did try the extremes. But I also realized that there are places nearby where we live, Lukenya, where there are wide open spaces. You can actually even do 20 kilometers if it was possible, because you can see all the way that far.
Exactly.
And you can be able to see predator birds, whether they're hawks or wherever they are, you can be able to see them. So it becomes easier to actually spot.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think we're going to show you some footages here and there of how we're going to try them out.
Yeah,
He's actually using a Mavic Mini. I'm also using a Mini, but a Mini 2. We're using a Mini 1. And just to remind you, that's the D53 Nikon with a kit lens. And for you?
That is the 90D with a Sigma lens.
Yes. And
Sigma lens.
Yes. And the wide shot, we're doing it with the Osmo Action. Yes. Still your gear.
Yeah. By there, I am a sucker for all things DJI, apart from the gimbal that I use. DJI, if you're watching this, please, I am a simp for you guys. Like, if simping was wrong for DJI, I don't want to be right. Like, for real, I love DJI stuff.
So
I love DJI stuff.
Nothing about GoPros and...
No, I don't think I'm going to switch.
Yes.
In fact, just like the way I do my videos, I am more of a gonzo kind of person. Like, I want to be involved in like the whole video situation. And using like Osmo Action, it actually really helps me to go like into tight spaces. And I think the lens and the functionality is quite good compared to it came out when the GoPro 7 was out.
Yes.
It was worlds ahead.
Yes.
But of course the GoPro 9 is let's not talk about the GoPro 9
GoPro 9 you actually have to sell an arm.
But you
actually have to sell an arm.
Exactly. But DJ, I'm still supporting you. Please get me something. If you're watching this, get me something. All I need is the DJI Inspire. Like I was watching a video about the DJI Inspire, the Mavic Inspire, and I was like, this thing it's just like a transformer. It's like Iron Man. It's like the Iron Man of drones. So
but now how many kidneys do you need? Because I'm out of kidneys myself, so photography and video is expensive.
You basically have to sell your soul for that. You have to sell your soul for that. Fit.
Yes.
For your gear, keeping, selling, stealing. How would you like rate your gear or any other gear that you'd ever want for those three? Keeping, selling, stealing.
Does this include lenses?
Yeah.
One, the Sigma has worked out for me. I rarely use actually the Nifty 50 because that's somewhat covered. I actually never use the 24. The 24, I actually tried it when I'm doing the B-rolls or the 120 frames since I need a wide shot. The 70 to 200 Jim. The lens is heavier than my camera. But essentially it's a very nice lens. So for keeps, I think Sigma is my top lens. The 18 to 35 watts. Then the 70 to 200.
Okay.
And then what comes later, maybe the kit, and then the Nifty 50. Because the kit lens is also very good on video.
Interesting.
The Canon 90D, actually if I bought the R5, I'd compare it to the 90D. I'd still not get rid of the 90D. The 90D has a bit of reach. I do like, especially if you pay to the 70 to 200, you actually can shoot really far. The zoom is really nice. You still at 2.8 throughout. It's an L lens. That costs several kidneys, just to let you know.
You have to go for a loan and say, I know the president.
Yes.
I know the commander-in-chief.
Yes.
For people to like...
the 70-200 USM Series 3, what I have, that's the 2.8, actually costs more than the body of my Canon 90D.
Switch to Nikon, my friend.
Yes.
Switch to Nikon.
But
Switch to Nikon.
I love the quality.
Yeah.
It's superb.
Yeah, I won't deny it. Like, I'm just looking at myself and I feel like I fell in like a tub of pumpkin soup, and like I just got out looking glowing. So I can't even deny that. That's just amazing.
So that's keeping. I'd also keep the Mini too.
Okay.
If you remember before, I really wanted to do the Mavic Pro. And maybe I will do the Mavic Pro. But the Mini has really amazed me in terms of range, in terms of quality of the 4K.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the size, I'm really afraid of birds of prey.
Yeah, for sure.
And wind. Though I only got there's a place I've actually flown your drone and got several warnings on strong wind. And when I flew the Mini too, I actually didn't get any, and it was still windy.
Yeah.
So it kind of impressed me way more than I expected. So that I'd keep. What I'd get rid of?
Are you going to talk about the kit lens?
I actually wouldn't get rid of my kit lens, but I'd get rid of the 24 mm.
Really?
Yes, the 24 prime. I'd get rid of it. Yes.
I didn't think about that. I never thought that it mentioned
Yes. Basically, when I look at the lenses I have, the only EF.
Yeah.
The only EF lens I have is the 70-200, meaning I can use it on my APS-C in a full frame. So even if I was to get an R5, all I need is an adapter.
Of course.
And I'd still be able to use that. But the EFS, which is the 24 mm, I know
it can only work on the
I'd get rid of it. The Nifty 50 is an EF. Will work both on an APS-C and a full frame. So I'd still keep that.
Yeah, for those people who don't know what EF means and EFS means, you can just clarify for them. I know all these things. I want you to just tell them.
EF, EFS, and what you hear as calling mounts is there's a specific mount of fitting the lens. So for different kinds of cameras, they have different sort of mountings for fitting the lens to the body. So for an EF, usually works with the full frame. Full frame is the 35mm original sort of size of a sensor, and the APS-C is a crop sensor. So you'd find that some APS-Cs will work with both EF and EFS. But full frame will only work with EF. So the 24 being an EFS, I'd get rid of it.
For me, I think my camera, since it is a crop camera, it essentially is using a DX mount.
Yes, it's Nikon.
Yeah, Nikon. So Nikon has DX mounts and FX mounts. So that's why we differ a bit. But the good thing is that they are adapters. So you can get adapters that just throw in a legacy Sigma lens or a lens that was meant for Nikon or for Canon, and it will still work.
I've actually shot on his D53. Very nice photos. I remember I actually was amazed by that. Before I was doing mobile photography, and before I bought my Canon 90D, I actually explored what you had. And I actually liked the outcome and how you'd be able to, it's a bit tricky, but it was a nice experience.
And the learning curve is a bit,
yes, the learning curve was nice. And shooting manual actually on a Nikon, sort of just like driving a stick, which you can drive a stick.
I can drive a stick. In Kenya, before you go to the road, you need to like drive manual. So all of us can drive sticks. True. I hope.
Lens first. We call lenses glass. When you talk of glass, you're talking of the lens. So lens or body?
Obviously, I'll go for lenses. Like I'll tell you why. For me, I just think to the history of like when I was getting my gear. When I first bought my camera, I was like, I have the camera. It has come with the kit lens, and that's basically good.
Yes.
And I was like, well, like I just been doing a couple of shots here and there. I realized that there's this thing. It's like chromatic aberration which happens. Like at the edge of the images, you can see like the color is not really like working out well. It's not really blending. And when I went back to the color science of like how lenses work, I realized that there's so much that goes into lenses, making them actually more expensive than bodies. So I ended up getting a telephoto lens. Then afterwards I got a nifty 50. And trust me, like switching the lens, it just changed my photography game. Just completely. Like that, like you take an image with the kit lens, and you go and take an image with a prime lens, and you're like, what is this? The same camera? Like, who am I? Can anyone compete with me? Like lenses, they also like especially when you're doing videos, they do create moods. When you have like a telephoto lens, I'm sure most of you guys have seen this, like in athletics, and we usually see like our Kenyan guys running and everything. From the top, when there's the bird eye view, you see like those guys are like worlds apart. The difference between the first person and the second person is like so big. But when there's the telephoto lens being used from the guy at the front, it appears like this guy just right behind it.
Just right behind it.
And you realize that there's like that kind of compression that is created by lenses, and those are things that you can even use into a photography game or videography game to be able to like up your standards. This kind of bokeh that people talk about, people say bokeh, I don't know. How do you pronounce that word?
Tomato.
Yeah, it's basically like the background blur. Yeah, for sure. It's like the background blur that people look at. For Pete, he's using the kit lens, and with the kit lens, you don't really see a lot of background blur there. But for me,
and I get lost.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to diss his Nikon.
No, you're not going to change my stance on Nikon. But
when I do this, I get lost.
When I look at your camera, and since you're using like the Sigma 2.8, you see, for me,
Sigma 1.8.
1.8. Okay. Oh gosh. 1.8.
Yes.
The practical lights at the back, the flower at the back, we can already see them being blurred. It creates that kind of cinematic feel.
Yes.
So for me, I'd always go for the lenses. The glass is king.
So glass matters more.
Yeah, glass matters more.
Yeah, because even for me, I think whenever I buy a lens, it's mostly determined by the kind of body I want in future.
Exactly.
I will never buy a lens for actually just the body I have.
This camera, let me get a lens.
No, I'll buy a lens knowing I'm going to use it for the body I have now. But I know there's a certain other body I'm looking for, and that will also be like 50% of the decision-making process. Yes, exactly. Me buying that lens. So I really want that whenever I change a body, I don't have to actually need to look for either glass or invest, and glass is expensive.
Glass is super
Sony, expensive. No, I'm not going there.
Even guys who use Sony bodies,
I don't have any more kidneys. I've sold all of them.
Guys who use Sony bodies don't use Sony glass. You can imagine. They go for Tamron, they go for Sigma, they go for Pentax. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You can see I'm using a Sigma on a Canon, and I'd actually found out the new lenses, the new glass by Canon, the RF. The RF is for mirrorless bodies. They're so expensive. I actually have nightmares when I think about it.
You wake up in the middle of the night and you're like...
So you'll find even Canon guys are still going for Sigma and Tamron because L glass. L is the top level kind of glass for Canon.
Yeah.
And they're super sharp. They're really nice. They're so expensive. Yes.
What makes them that expensive? Let's not even answer that question today. We can answer that question.
We can ask another time.
Yeah.
Sound. As we speak right now, still trying to get in focus. But we're using two different kinds of mics as we speak. The mic I'm using here on the D53 is the Video Pro. The mics we're using are the Boyo WM8 Pro. with dual channels. That's recorded on the Canon 90D. The Osmo decided to walk alone. So
the lone wolf in this whole situation.
There is no mic attached to the Osmo. There are many ways of actually recording audio. It just is. I've told you about the ones that we're using. You can also have an external recorder. There's a time I actually wanted to invest in one. The Sennheiser, where you just have an external recorder and they don't actually have to record to the camera. So essentially, with sound, what do you use? What works for you?
For me, I actually have a condenser mic. It's called, the name tends to escape me. Because essentially it is something which is Chinese manufactured, still bought in America, but Chinese manufactured. But it is basically an equivalent of the BM6300. Yeah, so essentially I usually just use that for like my ASMR-ish kind of recording, like just in my space in the house. And when I'm outside, I also have a lavalier mic which I talked about, which is not functional.
Oh, these are lavalier mics.
Yeah.
Whatever else you were saying before is just Russian. Just but these are lavalier mics, and you'll see the clip of the mics is using.
Exactly. So essentially, for me, I prefer using condenser mics because they have like a very high dynamic range, audio dynamic range with that kind of waveform. So you're able to like isolate sounds. If you especially have like lots of sounds coming from different places, and of course when you're staying like in an estate, people tend to make a lot of noise. So you don't want to isolate sound. Sound actually really matters, and not only the sound system that you use, but even the kind of treatment that you've done, the audio treatment that you've done. So what Pete has done here with, not sure if you're able to like see it from his camera, but
just click this link and you'll be able to see my video about making this studio.
Exactly.
You can be able to see the kind of sound treatment.
Make sure you watch that video. So the kind of audio treatment that is done also helps to isolate.
You've also done audio treatment.
Yeah, I've also done audio treatment, and it actually does work out of wonders. Especially if you want to like have a place which is quite quiet, and if you don't want to use like natural or basically just use the inset audio, the microphone in your camera.
Please don't do that.
No. Pete, don't play to guys, because the reason why when you're using like the standard microphone coming from whichever device, which is, it can be your camera, it can be your phone. What happens is that there's a lot of ambient noise that comes in. But when you've done like proper treatment, you won't really need to like isolate with speakers or microphones. But when you are actually dealing with a situation, a more realistic situation, which is like what we have, where there are people coming around and everything, of course you need to have that isolation, and some microphones really do a lot there. So for me, I feel that when it comes to sound, again, it also depends on what you're going for. The ideal situation for me, if you have the funds, get an external mic.
Oh, definitely.
Get an external mic.
Now listen to him. Now you can listen to him.
Get an external mic. Preferably a condenser mic. If you don't want to like go through the hassle of figuring out which kind of mic that you want to use, you just want to like have something that you plug into your computer and use it directly, you can just go for a normal dynamic mic. There are very many which are out here. If I'm to go for any external mic myself, I'd go for a Shure. SUSHURE.
More kidneys.
It costs like 60 Gs. I was the time that I was like window shopping. It costs like around 60 Gs. It's a good investment. It's a good investment.
Actually, I believe with sound. The mic actually does matter, and sound treatment also does matter.
Exactly.
Because I do have like the Boyo, the one with the dead cat. It's very nice, but I've actually never used it. I used it once and regretted it. And no. And what the Video Rode Mic Pro does is actually really, really, really nice. But what the lavaliers that I have that we're using now, they actually, I think there's a slight edge over. Because when you go to editing and you listen to your voice, it's really easy to have that crisp tone without a lot of stutters, and you don't have to edit your audio.
You just work
externally.
With it.
And before I remember, I used to have audio, and I have to go to my other apps to edit the audio to actually make it up to
use a preamp, put something else.
Yeah, and you have to clean out the noise.
Exactly.
And a lot of starters and stuff like that. So I think the quality of the mic matters.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to sell a kidney. That's what I'm saying.
And we've just talked about show. We haven't even gone to Sennheiser and everything.
Yes.
where not only shall you sell your kidney, you shall also sell your brain. You shall have your brain transplant.
So you want to do photography and video, you will just leave your eyes and hands.
Exactly.
Just to see what you're shooting and
so something.
And the rest you have to loan off.
What are your thoughts on lighting, Hasa?
No, we can go with your next section because for me at number 5, we are now going off a bit because I'm doing the running.
Yeah.
You're doing the wheel build. Yeah. And you said you are DJI fan, so we want to know why. You went the other way and me, I went.
Oh, yeah. We crossed.
So you can ask your question is number 5.
Number 5, yeah. In your opinion, sasa. Alafu kamera yangu nimeona imebaki bar moja. That's a bummer.
So can we pause?
To pause alafu to charge.
Yes. I think we can do that.